Welcome to VO Rookie. On this channel, my goal is to bring to you VO rookies out there interviews with professional voiceover talent and get their take on where to go for work, what to do for demos, or any other aspect of the business of voiceover. This first video, I interviewed Allan. He's the voice behind Big Voice Productions. He's also a voice coach, and he's got some phenomenal advice. Stick around, listen, enjoy, comment, and like this page or this channel if you're interested. And yeah, enjoy. Okay, well, so just to start off, I wanted to start this VO Rookie just for any people that are getting started in voiceover. I know when I started doing voiceover that it was these questions I'm going to ask you, I think are very pertinent, and I think it's very interesting for those beginning. And you being a professional voiceover talent, I kind of want to get with people like you and have you answer these questions and give people some insight into this career field. Okay, first question, why voiceover?
Why voiceover? That's a tough question to start with, Sean. My goodness.
I know. Was it for fame, money, passion?
Yeah. There's three words in this question. I got to think about this. Yeah, the fame, the glory, the money. Mostly, right. No. It's one of my God-given gifts, and I must be a good steward of these gifts. I discovered that I possessed the skill and the talents many years ago, but then they weren't for me. They weren't for me. It's up to me to find out whom I am to serve with these talents and skills every day and perfect them as I go through my life. So awesome. It's what I do. I mean, I could drive a car, drive a truck, I could work at a factory, but that's not my shtick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can tell you got a good voice for it. So you're one of those where people say, hey, you've got a voice for voiceover. So
yeah. The common misconception, if I can camp on that for a second.
Oh, absolutely.
Common misconception. You know, the fact is a voice is got to be the right fit for the project.
Correct.
We all have seen animation, cartoons, and gaming. They're not the perfect voices in those kind of things. You know, right. If you get a lisp, you can make it an animation.
Sure.
If you have slurred speech, you can make it an animation in gaming. It's a matter of doing something with your voice that fits you and your passion. So, and there's so many genres, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, but so many genres in the world today that there's not one size fits all, and no one can be everything to all people.
Right.
We have to find our niche, our money read, and go with that.
Exactly. And I think that gives a lot of hope to beginning voice talent, because I think a lot of people, like you said, think they got to have that voice, but I mean, any voice, and often the guy next door voice is what people are looking for, depending on, like you said, the project. So
yep, that's exactly right.
Very cool. Okay, so how did you get started?
Well, if you mean started in voiceover or coaching, either way, my springboard was a radio career. Okay. I was a jock. I was an announcer. I was a music host, rock stations, country stations, smooth jazz, talk, top 40. I did it all, been there, done that in 3 states, 5 stations, and then I became a production director. Now, the production director title is the guy in the building that works at the radio station that takes the orders, like these, from the radio salesperson who goes out and talks to the business owner.
Right.
And they determine what they want to do in their ad and their campaign. And they say, hey, Ron, here, make a great campaign and spot out of this. And so I come up with a creative angle. It could be humorous. It could be straight narration. It could be a 2-voicer. It could be a slice of life. That was my job. So I was a decent on-air jock, and I still am today, but I gravitated to the creativity of radio spots, writing and producing them, and casting them with the other jocks and the talent that I had in the building. So that was a skill that was valuable to the station owner, because that's what radio does. They sell advertising. Right. So I realized my job is pretty secure if I can keep making the boss money and keep the client happy. So that's how I got started in voice acting through radio and also television voiceover along the way, and on camera stuff for TV as well.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Very cool. So then you just kind of took those talents and started your own thing then, right?
Yeah, because I realized I no longer wanted to be a slave to the man. I was
Right.
prospering the station owner with my skills and talents. And they said, hey, guess what? We're capping your salary when I asked for a raise. I
Mm.
said, I don't like that. I've been making you money. I deserve to be rewarded and compensated. And they said, yeah, well, we'll find a guy who worked for 10,000 less than you. Oh, okay. I don't like the scenario. If I'm ever going to
Yeah.
make the money that I know that I'm worth, I've got to go out and be independent. I've got to find clients and I've got to learn the sales game, which I did. I got training in sales. All I had to find was a few more direct clients to
Right.
my style.
Awesome.
They were already liking my style as being an employee of the radio station.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of promotion after that point and letting them know I'm no longer an employee of the radio station, but I'm still here and I can still voice and produce for you.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. So that kind of leads into another one of my questions. I was going to ask it a little later, but you're talking about it now. How did you market yourself? Did you do a website? And this could be for your voiceover or for your coaching because you do the
Oh,
big voice production.
what website? This is 30 years ago. There was no website when I started.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you go. So,
I'm older than dirt. No, I'm older than the internet. Okay, so was no website. The marketing was face to face at the
okay.
local
So you,
chamber of commerce.
wow. Okay.
Join the local chamber of commerce, which you still do today. You should still do today. Go and meet people, the business owners who are everywhere in America at
Mhm.
123 Main Street. They
Okay.
have a need. These small business owners all over America are fighting for their lives against the big box stores. They
Yeah.
need creative advertising. They need it. And they need to advertise to reach that station's audience. Hey, I just got to go meet them so they can put a face with a voice, shake hands, get to know them, court them, if you will, date
Yeah.
them before we get married, and find the clients who need my services. So it was
Okay. So
a lot
a
of like,
lot of people, oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people would say, is that the equivalent of doing like cold calls now, do you think? Or you'd still
yes,
recommend going locally and visiting with different business owners?
there's an old saying nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Okay.
Care. A business owner has their life, their passion wrapped up in their business. It could be a chiropractor, an insurance agent, a restaurant owner, the hardware store, the computer store, the mechanic. I just did that spot for a mechanic. They have their life wrapped up in this. They need help because they're experts in their field. They need help in the marketing side. You can help
Right.
with your experience and with your voice and with your production skills. So you have to go
So,
meet.
right. So for you, it sounds like you do a lot more of the actual creation of the spot. Is that
Oh
true?
yeah, start to finish, concept to full blown radio on the air turnkey production. Yes, I do.
Okay. So I assume then that you're able to charge more than just a voice talent.
That's right. You provide more services, you charge more money.
Right.
You want to make double or triple your money, you learn how to write copy and you learn how to produce. But you must have the whistles and bells, the music and the sound effects that go with the spot. That's
Very cool.
cost. That is cost. But you can
Right.
find that on the internet now anywhere. But you
Yeah.
have the tools of the trade.
Yeah. And typically, can't you get like a subscription to those or something? It's not
Right.
a
That's
crazy cost, hopefully. I don't know. I'm just thinking for anybody that maybe wants to do something like that.
right. The spot I just did this morning, I needed a clunky transmission sound. Now, I've got a
Mm,
pretty vast sound effects library from my 30 years in the business, but I didn't have
sure.
a clunky transmission sound. I, I can't simulate that. And I can't, run alongside a car with a microphone and get one. So I
Be a
went to
Foley
the,
artist.
yeah, I went to the internet and found something that kind of sort of sounds like a clunky transmission sound. When you put in the
Sure.
context of a radio ad, the audience will get it. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
clunky transmission sound. Boom. Well,
Awesome.
you only need about 3 to 5 seconds of it. So
Yeah. So do you use a lot of your students that have graduated from you to do some of the voices? Because obviously your voice isn't going to fit every commercial.
correct. And my radio and TV stations don't want Ron Allan on every commercial. That'd be no, yes, I do offer my students a chance to actually voice TV and radio commercials. So they get on the job training with me and on the air.
That's awesome.
That's awesome experience. And
Oh
then
yeah.
get the actual radio ad and the actual TV ad that I cast them in, and they can use that to market themselves with.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Actually, that leads into another question regarding demos. So I know you do demo production, correct?
absolutely. That's you got to have the full package in the coaching business.
Yes. Awesome. So what about, how did you do your first demo? So for example, if you don't have any experience and you don't have any past voiceover, what do? You come in and you take it away.
Well, you must have education. I mean, I wouldn't dare get my scissors out and try and cut your hair if I
Right.
didn't go to cosmetology school. That'd be
Sure.
ridiculous. And you come out with a bad haircut. You're going to come out with a bad demo if you don't know what you're doing according to industry standards.
Right.
And there's plenty of examples on YouTube and all over the internet on what a high quality demo sounds like. Now, a demo is not a demo is not a demo. It must be for the specific genre that you're trying to market yourself to.
Right.
If you think you're good at medical narration and the producer you send your demo to hears you doing Nike commercials, what do you know about medical narration? You're wasting their time. You
Sure.
send the appropriate demo to the client who needs you for their industry, their specifics. A lot of people make the mistake of doing a compilation demo, all kinds of genres on one demo to save money. Bad, bad, bad idea. If I hear cut 2 and it's all about message on hold when I'm casting today for a TV spot, you're wasting my time. Wasting my time.
No, I understand that. So there's multiple demos that need to be recorded.
Absolutely. It all depends on what markets you want to target. There you go. It all depends on what markets you want to target. If you want to target telephone on hold, you must have a telephone on hold sounding demo. Audiobooks, you must have an audiobook demo. Commercials,
Right.
TV, radio, narration, documentaries, the list goes on and on. It's a specialized world we live in, and the people that are hiring us are using things like keywords to type things looking for us. Yeah. So they're going to search for keywords, and your website or your listing must have those keywords before they're going to find you.
Right. Okay. So if somebody's got limited funds, which voiceover isn't exactly a difficult, I guess there's not a big barrier to entry into voiceover, but a demo can cost a certain amount of money. Which demo would you recommend to a VO rookie to start with?
Well, that is a question that I tell my students I don't know until we put you to the test.
See what they're good at.
Right. We find what I call your money reads. What are your money reads? What are you strong at right now? Some people come to me and they say, Ron, I really want to do audiobooks. I say, okay, do you realize what that entails? That means you go home with a flashlight and sit in your closet and read an entire book out loud until you're done with it. What? They say, is this really? Yeah, that's really what it's like. It's like running a marathon.
Oh, yeah.
You really want to do the short form stuff, which is TV and radio, 30 seconds and you're done. So you're not all things to all people. You may not like doing e-learning. It is dry, boring, non-glamorous work. Huge industry, but it may not be your cup of tea.
Right.
So you gotta find where your passions lie. So it's a discovery process for both me and them. And then I'll help guide them. And say, okay, now if you want to do this, we're going to discover how'd you do on this script? How'd you do on this script? How'd you do on this script? Does it compare with what the industry says you should sound like? If it does, and you really want to go after that kind of market, then that's the demo we produce.
Very cool. So what would you say is your niche, your money spot for voiceover?
Well, I've been at it a long time, and so my niche has grown as I've challenged myself. I was always interested in doing audiobooks, but I never did them until only about 7 or 8 years ago. I had the same perception many people do. An audiobook? You mean like War and Peace? No. So I can't do anything like that.
Yeah.
Or am I wrong? There are all kinds of booklets, children's books, self-help books that are very short.
Sure.
So I challenge myself. The first thing I did was record a children's book that is public domain. I didn't do it to sell it. I did it to practice and I did it to make a Christmas gift for my children.
Oh, cool.
So I voiced all the book as a bunch of talking rabbits and chipmunks and squirrels and the story of them in the field and the forest and blah, blah, blah. And then I made that into a CD audiobook for my children. So when I'm dead and gone, they can still listen to Dad years later.
Yeah.
Remember
Oh,
this book? That's how I got started in doing audiobooks. And I learned a lot in the process. I didn't do it for profit.
that's
And then
cool.
one thing
So
led to another. I challenged myself and challenged myself and challenged myself. And before you know it, I'm doing all kinds of audiobooks in all kinds of genres.
that's awesome. So stretch yourself and get outside your comfort zone, right?
Yep. That's how you grow. But
Yeah.
my niche still to this day, because of my experience in radio and TV, I do a lot of car dealer ads. And the car dealer ads, we all know, they shout at us. So yes, on that big obnoxious voice on the radio and TV that you hear shouting at you all over the country. I might be on your
Yeah.
radio, might be on your TV, and that's me shouting at you. And I'm sorry, but that's what the car dealers want. And that's
Come
what they
get a car.
Right. But that's not
Nice.
all I can do. If you do too much of that, sometimes people can pigeonhole you and say, oh, you're the big voice guy. That's all you do. No, I can do the soft sell too, the caring and even sophisticated reads, the high-end clientele like luxury cars and luxury items of any kind like fragrances and you name it in the luxury department. I can do that too.
Yeah. Well, I've heard your demo and I have to say, you've got a big voice, obviously. You got a nice deep voice, but just listening to your demo, some of the spots I'm like, is that really Ron?
Yeah, that's
so
the acting
that's
part.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the acting part. We almost have that act because you don't want to be a one-trick pony.
No, for sure.
If you want to increase your revenue or chances of revenue, you want to have a wide range of abilities, much like a singer. There are some singers that only sing a certain genre of music, right? And they make a great career out of that. But other singers stretch and cross the boundaries and they cross formats and they achieve much more success.
For sure. Okay, so I got two questions that are kind of in one. Where do you find work and which source provides the majority of your income? I think those are questions that are good to know.
That's a huge conversation, but
I know.
Yeah, that's a huge answer, I should say. But really, work is anywhere, and you just got to know where to look and be smart about it. As I mentioned earlier, join your local chamber of commerce. Go and rub elbows with the business owners in your town and build relationships. If you join the Chamber of Commerce, which is going to cost you about $150 a year, you are going to rub elbows with the people that need to know you. And you're going to be the only one that does voice work in the room. Chances are there's several chiropractors and several insurance agents and several computer guys, but you're going to be the only one. And that's called owning the category. It takes time for you to go and build those relationships face to face, but you will reap the rewards, I guarantee you. That's old school. All right, then the new school is social media, more specifically LinkedIn. You must, it's not an option. You must have a LinkedIn profile and you'll access clients all over the world. We are in a global economy, a global marketplace. You must make relationships that way, and it's a different set of rules. You want to be more targeted in how you do that, but on LinkedIn, you can search any kind of club or industry that you want to and start reaching out to people. Start doing proactive reach out. You can also Google search for ad agencies, production houses, multimedia companies all over the globe. They're all looking for us. You take the first step and look for them. But do not send them an email. Chances are your email ends up in spam. They never hear from you. No, like you said earlier, make the cold call so they can hear your voice.
Yeah, once they get to hear you, then they've got a connection with you.
Correct.
Very, very cool. So the majority of your income comes from, as far as doing voiceover.
Okay, that comes from the retainer accounts that I have. I have 2 TV stations that I serve on a regular basis. TV sells advertising, and they need volume of work.
Right.
And a radio station, which is a cluster of stations, 3 stations in a cluster, they hire me. Again, they sell advertising. Every single day, their salespeople are on the street talking to the local business owners. And the in-house production people are overworked. So they outsource this so easy through the internet. There are over 15,000 radio stations in America alone.
Yeah.
You should be able to find one or two radio stations, or over 400 cable stations, and they all need our voices. You just have to pick up the phone and call them, and you're not going to
Yeah.
get everyone. You don't want to get everyone as a client. You just
Sure.
need a few. And so the majority of my income on that end comes from those clients who use me on a regular basis. They don't use me because I'm Ron Allan. They use me because I'm dependable, I'm reliable, I get it. And I interpret their copy, turn stuff around quickly at a reasonable rate, the basic tenets of business.
Yeah, I was going to say that if you can just be dependable, reliable, and
Yep.
get things done when you say you're going to get them done, then yeah, I agree. I think that's huge.
Rare quality these days.
It honestly seems that way. It really does. So what would be your best advice for someone getting started in voiceover? You're a coach, you do voiceover coaching. We've alluded to that. What do you tell your students? What's like the number one thing you say?
Well, the number one thing I say, and I put it in writing in the first session of my training, do you believe in yourself? The power of believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, that you have the God-given skills and talents to actually do this, to get behind the microphone day in and day out, you can stop right now, because it's going to come out your voice. You're not confident, and nobody will hire you if you don't feel confident. But you got to do it yourself. I'm here to be your cheerleader and help you do that, but I can't convince you to believe in yourself. That is so powerful. It sounds cliche, I know, but it's what I have to do. The reality of me is I'm from Lower Michigan. I grew up in a one dog, one street, one church, one barber shop town that is barely even on the map. I'm a kid from rural Michigan. You couldn't even get there. And now my voice is worldwide. And it blows me away that I can still do this. And I certainly didn't, imagine the internet coming along and leveling the playing field and making everybody accessible to us. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by it every single day. And on a daily basis, I may send my voice out to Madison, Wisconsin, Indianapolis, Peru, Spain. That's every day for me. Every day. I never know where the work is going to come from on all the sites and things that I'm on the internet. Sure. Work can show up anywhere, any day. But I had to start planting the seeds and getting out there myself. It didn't just happen. There's a lot of work that goes on in marketing yourself.
Absolutely. I think
smartly.
Yeah. You start out slow, and then it just hopefully snowballs for you. Right.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't want the slow part. They want everything. Overnight success. Make it 6
gratification.
Month time. No, nobody has overnight success. Nobody.
Right.
That's a big misconception.
So dedication, right?
Absolutely.
Believe in yourself. That's cool. I like that. That's some great advice.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I appreciate your time, Ron. I feel like I've taken enough of it. Awesome. Go ahead and give a plug for your coaching. Any VO rookies that want to come hit up Ron, please.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Yeah, you can access me through Big Voice Productions with an S.com. I do train on Skype, so I can train anybody anywhere, and I do. I can train locally as well, of course, here in Columbus, Ohio. And I've been training for over 20 years. Nearly 500 students have been trained by me. And that includes comprehensive training from the ground up. When you train with me, you're going to know what to do and how to serve clients in all genres from the ground up and all over the world. There's not a one-size-fits-all set of rules in this business. So I teach it all. I teach you everything about voiceover. The technical side, demo production, interpreting scripts, how to market yourself. Huge skill. How to market yourself and run your business. And you must understand this is a business. People's money is on the line, and you must serve them with that understanding.